said, we're getting together with our senior leadership team in a couple weeks. And so we're coming up with different ideas, and we do like a futures planning every year on what we're going to try to accomplish for the next year, and get together with our council and everything. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I know we got a late start, but really want to know what advice you would have for a city trying to promote something like this, and what was the key to your success?
Yeah. Would you mind if I share a little PowerPoint with you?
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay, let me just see. Hopefully you can. Well, I'm just struggling all over the place today. So sorry, I don't use Teams very often, and I'm not seeing my.
So I think if you go,
so I'm trying to go to.
If you click on that share at the top, like next to the mic and the camera.
I'm clicking on share, and so I am. It's not clicking. See, entire screen window. Okay. Let me let's see. So it's a Dropbox file that I'm trying to share.
Oh, maybe
screen window.
You could email it to me, and I can open it up here, maybe.
Okay, might be too big, but share. I'm going to try to do it as a OneDrive. I don't know if that's going to work.
Okay.
No, it's not. Okay. Let's just get into it.
Okay.
So the history of this is I did not grow up in a Porching community at all. I grew up in Washington, D.C. And I married a Hoosier, and I ended up moving to Indianapolis. And when we moved here, we bought a fixer-upper, and it's this like big Victorian house with a front porch. And I thought, oh, a front porch, it's something you decorate.
Yeah.
So I put a cute wreath on the door, and I, put cute furniture out there. But the very first thing we did was build a back deck, right? And so I didn't realize that modernization has affected all of us. That our habits have changed.
Yeah.
Where my grandmother used to sit on her porch and used to have her fan and would be cool out there. She didn't have air conditioning. We have all these modern amenities that have drawn us inside that have made us more private, right? And so we also have this private back porch or back deck and privacy fences and attached garage and all that. So in 2000, about 15 years later, one of our neighbors invited us over for a football game. And so we tailgated on their front porch before the game. And we started doing that every Sunday. And after the season was over, we started sending texts saying porch 3:00. And so it was weird how this thing had turned into a verb, right? Porch became a verb. And so we started porching together, and we did it every single Sunday from 3:00 to 5:30 for about 15 years until COVID.
That's awesome.
And so in 2014, I run an art center. And in 2014, we were thinking about the importance of connecting neighbors, because when neighbors are connected, they're healthy. And that when that happens across the neighborhood becomes healthy. And when that happens in neighborhoods across the city becomes healthy. And so we were thinking about what are the ways that we can help connect neighbors, because artists can't stay in Indianapolis unless the city is healthy, right? And there are a lot of other things that can't happen in Indianapolis unless the city is healthy. And so this crazy idea of this weekly tradition of sitting on the porch that's so simple and was so impactful for me, we turned into a Harrison Center program. And so we started out just with a few neighborhoods, and then we kept adding every year. And then in 2016, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway reached out to us and said, we would like this to be part of our annual the 500 Indianapolis 500 celebration. And so with their help, we were able to take it around the state, which was amazing. And what we learned is that porching is so simple. Like I can sit on my porch with my friends and it could be lemonade and a cookie, right? Or it could be really fun charcuterie, supporting local businesses and buying pottery from local artisans. And, you can make it your own. But the interesting thing is because our society is not used to sitting on a porch anymore, people want to know how to do it. And it's silly, right? It's sit on a porch, right? So we actually had to create rack cards with 10 steps, and I could share that with you. I can send
Oh,
you some electronic stuff.
that'd be
So
awesome.
10 steps, it's like choose some fun recipes. And I always try to make sure that they are familiar foods like Cheetos, and then fun foods and like local or artisan supporting the local economy foods. I also try to make sure there's conversation starters. So sometimes I'll put something really weird on there just to kind of break the ice, so people have something to talk about. So we talk about food. We also talk about music. So over the years, we've commissioned probably 20 different songs about porching. So we bring in artists, musicians that are inspired by porching, and then they create songs. So we have a free playlist that we make available to people. If they want to have music on their porch, they could also do their own music, right? We've also encouraged artists to create paintings about porching, and we've put them up on billboards. So instead of your typical advertising, we have these beautiful porch party paintings on billboards. So we use the billboard as a frame for art. And then, we think about over the years, we thought also about diversity. So for the first 15 years, my porching was very much me and my friends, me and my immediate neighbors that I liked, right? And then I started thinking about how do I include other people onto my porch? How do I start connecting to people that are not like me? And so I started doing that intentionally every Sunday, and it was hard. It was good, but it was hard.
Yeah.
So the way I was raised, you don't speak loudly when you're outside, or you don't interrupt, or you don't lean over people to grab things, right? So people coming from different backgrounds are going to have different types of etiquette, right? And that can be challenging, but it's also really good to learn how to build those friendships. So we always do a porch party video every year. We commission a new video, and there's music, and there's new porch um, kind of footage. So it's kind of become this thing in Indianapolis that is almost kind of a civic activity. Um, then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And COVID happened right when we were getting ready to kick off our porch party season. And so we knew that we couldn't do it the normal way, but we also knew that it was needed more than ever in a really weird way. So we recreated porching to be social distance porching. And we invited our neighbors to get off their couch every day at 5 o'clock and go out to their front porch and practice their Hey Neighbor wave. And it was amazing. There was a 2-month period where our 9 families on our block participated every day for 2 months, and it was really beautiful. And so we were, again, just trying to send the message that we need to be connected. Human beings need to be connected, and when we're connected, we can get through hard things. So as you're thinking about your community changing, and if your community can be a place where people feel known and feel loved, um, and can uh, respect the stories of long-term neighbors. So an example would be there is a neighborhood right by the Harrison Center, right where I work, that is going through gentrification. And it's a historically Black neighborhood. And there are some neighbors that were feeling the pressures of developers coming in and feeling like their stories were being erased. I differentiate between economic gentrification and cultural gentrification.
Sure.
My pay grade doesn't know what to deal with, how to fix economic gentrification, but my thought is that art could help provide a solution for cultural gentrification. So we started hosting porch parties with the long-term neighbors and taking oral histories at those porch parties. And then we gave artists the information that then created art about the person. And then we hung these 6 foot by 4 foot pieces of art outside on commercial buildings, on the sides of buildings with permission from the owners, to elevate their stories. And so porching became a medium through which we accomplished other type of community healing. That
Huge.
series, those long-term neighbors we now call the Greatriarchs. They're not matriarchs, they're not
I like it.
patriarchs, they're the Greatriarchs. And that's also pretty famous in Indianapolis now, the Greatriarchs. So porching has become um, a very important thing in our culture, for connecting, for learning about our neighbors, for creating a more diverse um, uh, community, and for helping know and love people. And when people are connected, they're healthy. But when people are known and loved, they're healthy. And so that's kind of become our strategy.
Uh, it's amazing what you've been able to accomplish. How, we just even at my church, we do we're doing a dinner for 8 group or whatever. And it's been interesting to watch how some people are like, yeah, I'm in, I'll host. And others are like, I feel uncomfortable, So I think that as I'm thinking about it is, what I think will be our biggest challenge is how do we get those first people to step out there and actually put this together? And what was your technique to get people to convince them to do this?
Um, so I started with my relationships, right? And so I run an art center. I go to a church. I'm involved with the school. So you think about those institutions, and who do you know? You know, there are always people that plan parties, right? In your world, you know who those people are. So think about your dinner for 8. You know the people that are going to sign up to do that kind of thing, and so you get those key people, and then you use them as examples, and you create a video, and you do like a little marketing campaign around it, but using those so people can see people in their community doing it, right? And they get
Yeah,
familiar with it. But the beautiful thing about porching is you don't have to clean your house.
it's very
And
true.
it doesn't have to be a porch either. It can be on your driveway. It could be the front yard. It can be an apartment balcony. It can be the stoop of your house. And so we try to teach people that you don't have to have a porch to porch. It's really an attitude. It's about being in the front of your yard, seeing your neighbors, knowing your neighbors. Put a picnic table in your front yard. But it's not, people are going to say, well, can I just have a barbecue in my backyard? There's a big difference. There's a big difference. It's actually culture. It's a culturally subversive to be in your front yard, and that's how you're going to get attention. That's how it becomes a little bit more of a movement, because you're doing something that is a little bit radical.
Yeah. So how many groups do you think do this in the Indianapolis area?
So COVID, killed it. So, but before COVID, we would get people to sign up, and we'd get about, it was really hard to get people to sign up. We get about 300 people signing up. And then sometimes we would drive around the city and just kind of count on a weekend how many people we saw porching, because like what we learned was the first year a bunch of people signed up. The people that signed up the first year continued porching, but they never signed up again. They felt like they'd already signed up. And even me, like I porch all the time. I didn't sign up, right? I didn't even follow the rules. So, but we did really struggle with counting, because we found that people just don't like to sign up. We did prizes, and we would do in May, we would do like VIP drop by. So if the mayor would drop by, or some local celebrities, TV anchors, that kind of stuff. But then you have people that don't want people to drop by, you
Yeah.
know.
Sure.
So it's interesting. So, but I think that the other interesting thing I learned is even the people that don't porch like to know what's happening in their neighborhood. And that's just kind of bizarre. The fact that there are people that they don't want to do it, but they like the fact that they live in a neighborhood where it happens.
Yeah. Well, it keeps your
That makes sense?
neighborhood safer. Everybody gets to
Oh,
know each
sure,
other.
sure.
You see those different, if you're out in front, you see the differences. Hey, that doesn't look right at that neighbor's house, or all those things it contributes to.
Yeah.
So one of the words you mentioned was if your community is healthy, if your city is healthy. When you use that term, what specifically do you mean by healthy?
Yeah. So I think about when, like, if you look at, there is research. I wrote an article for Shelter Force magazine about how porching is good for your health. And social isolation is like an epidemic in our country. And there is definitely an effect on physical health when you don't feel connected socially. And you can look at that research. It's all over the place now. So literally it makes you physically healthier physically. But also when you think about poverty, poverty is often the result of a lack of relationships, right? We're broken relationships. And so, yeah, I went to India years ago, and this guy had this ministry for like homeless people, and they ultimately ended up realizing that almost in every situation there was a broken relationship in the family that led to this homelessness, and so they began working on relationships with the people they were working, and that was so interesting to me. So connected. When I say connected, I mean on every level. I also think about think about that neighbor that knows who their neighbors are. They're connected in their neighborhood. And they can call the mayor for them, or they can get something taken care of. They know how to get the permit for the block party, or they know how to get something done, right? So when they're connected, their social capital from being connected helps their neighborhood. And then when you think about an engaged citizenry that is across the city, you have people that aren't apathetic. You have people that are voting, that are involved in their schools, that are involved in their neighborhoods, right? And so you have an engaged, active community that's connected and healthy.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing description. Did you always concentrate on people porching at the same time period, or would they like change it up?
Um, I will tell you, we've mixed it up. The initial years that we did it, we picked one day in July for the communal porching, and it was like a Sunday, like the second Sunday, and that was like the big. There were people that would like porch to get ready for it, and so excited they porch after it, right? But the day that we counted was like one day, and then when the Indianapolis Motor Speedway wanted to get involved, the big race is in May.
Yeah.
And so we decided that we would kick off the porching season in May, and then we would close it in October. There used to be for a couple of years, there was an event called International Porch Placemaking Week, and it died during COVID, but that was in October. So the idea was that we would have these anchor activities, and then we'd porch all summer long, and have little activities and prizes, throughout the summer. So it worked best for getting numbers when we had one day, and it worked best for getting numbers um, when we were starting the movement to have one day. And I think after a couple of years of having the one day, then it becomes just kind of normal, which is great, right? But I would recommend doing one day and then build it from there.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and you can rally everybody around that. So
And you can have neighborhood competitions. So now in
that's a good
Indianapolis, there are
idea.
neighborhoods that do music on their porch, and they'll hire musicians that will go from porch to porch, or there'll be musicians hosted on each porch. Um, so neighborhoods can make it their own, and you can make it into a competition.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, I have taken a lot of your time, and I very much appreciate it. If you are able to send me the little 10
Yep.
tips, and if you have any of those videos that you put together that you can send me a link to,
Yep.
that would be huge to use. But your advice is awesome. I very much appreciate it. Congrats
Great.
on all you've done, and thank you so much for the time.
Okay. Nice talking to you. Okay.
Nice
All
talking
right.
to you. Take care. Bye-bye.